You don't have to name names, either one of you, but I'm curious about more specificity on what you just said.
Yeah.
So what might be an example of doing just that?
No comment.
I don't mind naming names.
Name names.
You're that kind of guy, right?
You do. Well, let me take a step back and then I'll name a name. Okay, just to build on what Ted was saying. We have all, over the past few years, been proselytizing. Brands should be publishers. And we've made it very easy, not we, but technology has made it very easy to pick up the tools of publishing. But there's another piece to being a publisher, and that's the values of being a publisher. And the values of being a publisher are all about putting the reader first. And this is really what Ted is talking about. And to his point about finding something unique, it's not just finding something unique to say, it's finding something unique to say that you have the authority to talk about, right? That you are credible with. So there's a pretty well written about recent misstep by Verizon.
Yeah.
Right. So they produced a technology website there, brand as publisher, and we're going to create this publication about technology.
Yeah.
But they completely undermined their trust within the reader's trust in them by taking certain topics off limits. Right? So certain things that any self-respecting, credible technology site would be covering, they did not cover. They got tremendous backlash, and within several weeks, the site was down.
Yeah.
So the next time they come at it,
Yeah.
they're starting in a big hole.
Yeah.
They have a real trust issue now as a content provider. That could either be made worse or better by their brand position, right?
Sure.
So if you are a loyal Verizon customer who has gotten great customer service, you might give them the benefit of the doubt. On the other hand, if when you pick up the phone and try and get their hotline, and you get bounced around a million times and have an unsatisfactory, they're not listening to you, all of this accrues to the brand.
Yes.
So even despite the fact that we've been preaching this idea of being a publisher, it's still too self-serving. We still see it happening today.
Well, that's one example of it not being done well. There's many examples of it being done well, but the point is, it all goes into your brand story, right? This is and this is maybe the biggest opportunity to put your brand forward, to live your brand values.
And I think that the challenge is not just the self-serving aspect of it, Paul, although that is an issue, and clearly in the survey it showed that gap. But the other challenge is just being relevant, doing it right, getting the info, using the right channels, the right technologies. You know, to live and breathe and act like a publisher. Those are all the questions that you've got to ask yourself, and you've got to figure out the right answers. What's good for the brand, or what's good for the audience? I think you can put it through that filter. You know, 9 times out of 10, you'll probably come out with the right answer, or the right solution, or the right effort on your content.
You talk about the right channels of technology. I think oftentimes we think that, well, the more social, the better, right? The more digital, the better. But I think in the survey, we didn't necessarily see that response from the audiences, correct?
Well, we saw that executives still overwhelmingly do prefer text as a form of content. But that's not to say that multimedia, videos, infographics, social, that's not to say that those are not effective. But again, it goes back to the audience. You know, depending on you, the marketer, and the company that you work for, and the client or customer base you're trying to target, will really dictate, do you go predominantly text, or do you mix with video, and when, and how, and on what platforms? There's no one-size-fits-all to any of this stuff. It's really a case-by-case basis.
So Steve, RepTV can live on is what we're hearing.
Absolutely.
Well, you have no viewers, so why not?
We have 11.
11, sorry.
All family members.
Before this one, you had 11. I'm not saying after.
Started
this is not going to increase ratings.
We'll count in another 15 minutes to see where we're at.
What are the? I noticed one of the findings was, I think it was 31%. Maybe it was not. I don't know. Prefer receiving their information on desktop or laptop.
Yeah.
Why did you call that out? What is the implication? What's the significance of that stat? Was it 31%? Am I right about that?
I don't remember the
Yeah,
stat,
yeah.
but it was the majority.
Oh, so.
78%
I was
said they
close.
prefer using their desktop or laptop.
31, 78,
It was the
off by
ba-
40
it was-
counting.
That's off
It
by
was the
20.
majority, so you're directionally correct.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. I've always been a numbers guy.
Yeah. Why do we pull that out? Because it's a little counterintuitive these days, right?
Yeah, sure.
You hear a lot of talk, and appropriately so, about all the different media, that you could be using.
Mhm.
And I think Ted was really right about this. It's not one or the other. It's which is the right for the message you're trying to convey to the audience you're trying to convey. And it's often a combination. So, you think about content as a journey. And
Yeah.
you may find them in a short 20-second video, but then drive them down
Yeah.
to a 750-word article.
Right.
And you couldn't get them with the article, right? So you need a combination of things depending on
Understood.
how it works. But when it comes to the real substance of the utility and all of the qualities that the business professionals were telling us they value in their content, text and desktops and laptops are the primary
Yeah.
way they prefer.
Well, they're using it to solve business problems as well. So I think
Mhm.
theoretically, if you're reading something, content on a phone or on a tablet, that's more something that you do on the go. But if you really want to dive in and find solutions to your problems, then most of the time you would do it when you're sitting at your desktop at home, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And I do think also it'll be interesting if we ask the same question over the course of the next 5 years as mobile becomes more and more pervasive, but as access to high-speed internet on mobile devices and the proliferation of Wi-Fi happens, that might change, right? Because it may be just as easy to watch a video on your train ride home on your mobile device as it is on your desktop at work.
Most of our viewers ride New Jersey Transit.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they're not
So-
going anywhere.
Exactly.
So they got time to
But
let
they'll be in
the
a
video
tunnel.
buffer for a while.
It'll be in a tunnel. So.
Yeah.
Getting you there eventually.